George Mavropoulos, founder and president of the Asia Minor and Pontus Hellenic Research Center.
I'm John Davis, and I'm a board member and vice president of Asia Minor Pontus Hellenic Research Center. I'm also a producer on the documentary film Lethal Nationalism, Genocide of the Greeks 1913 to 1923.
My name is Peter Lambrinatos. I am a producer and director at On Air Productions. I was brought on board to produce and direct Lethal Nationalism, a Genocide of the Greeks 1913 to 1923.
Our mission is to promote the collection, preservation, and organization of archival and other materials related to the history and destruction of Hellenism in Asia Minor, Pontus, and Eastern Thrace. We are the only research center in the United States and the world outside of Greece with such a mission.
The Asia Minor and Pontus Hellenic Research Center strives every single year to not only meet that mission, but to expand its mission, to include more people, more organizations, and more conversation about the work that we're doing and how it dovetails into not only some of the more tragic things that have happened in the world in the past perhaps 100 years. And we will continue, as we say, to try to expand the tent to make sure that we can include more and more people in our discussions and in trying to find some solutions so that these kinds of atrocities never happen again.
In 2017, we were thankful that the Hellenic Foundation provided the funds for the script, which was written by Mr. McCarthy. And in 2018, after the completion of the script, we were lucky and thankful, of course, to the Hellenic Foundation because we were able to get enough funds to go into the production, and by the middle of or the end of last year, we're able to complete the production of Lethal Nationalism.
The Hellenic Foundation grant and just our discussions with the Hellenic Foundation, it seemed to raise, our credibility. And organizations, as George mentioned, the Civitas Foundation, all of a sudden they realize that everything is on the up and up here, and these guys have got a worthwhile project that we need to support too. And I can tell you that the Hellenic Foundation grant and just our discussions with the organization, which has an esteemed history and a long legacy of helping Greek organizations, not only survive but prosper over these many years, really helped us get on track and into crevices of financial help that we probably would never have gotten.
The documentary Lethal Nationalism was very important because it is an unknown dark chapter of history. It has largely been ignored. And I think that the center, along with the Hellenic Foundation, have been visionaries in taking this story and disseminating the information in this unique package. It was satisfying work because we were able to uncover things that many academics did not even know existed in terms of photographs and materials. So it was a long work in progress, but I actually am very proud to have taken part in such a new kind of documentary. We made it international with an international language so it can reach the masses. The goal of the center was to take this message worldwide, and luckily I think we've been able to accomplish that. The documentary, with a small group of people and support from places like the Hellenic Foundation, was able to receive international accolades. So we have been recognized at Houston World Fest. We've been recognized as winners in the Athens Marathon Film Festival. We've been recognized as winners in Romania, in Count Vlad's Castle. And we have an upcoming competition that we're in, which is going to be in Australia at the Byzantine Fest. So we've been able to reach, even during this time of COVID, we've been able to reach places globally from different language and different people, which is important, which tells you that this is not just a Greek story, but it is a human story.
I was born in a village near Kozani, in Greece. It was about 18 years after my parents were expelled from their home from near the village near Trapezunda in Pontus. And in the village, as a child, I've experienced at the time the hardships, the nostalgia of all these Pontian Greeks who ended up in a strange place because they lived in Pontus for 3,000 years, and all of a sudden they were expelled, they were killed. My grandfather was forced into the labor battalions, and he died at the age of 43, very young man, as many others, thousands were dying. Now that I'm getting older and I have a grandchild, this is something, an experience that I became kind of stronger as the experiencing and having a grandchild. As a child, I did not get to know grandparents. So that was quite an experience for me, in addition to other experience that I had as far as what we went through in Greece with the poverty and difficulties. I'm sorry.
You never have to apologize, George, for that kind of emotion. I grew up in a home where my great grandmother was an ex-slave. I married my wife, who was a Pontian Greek, and obviously in that time I have gotten to know intimately the story of the Pontian Greeks and what they went through. Her grandparents were also part of that forced migration, and they ended up in Greece, of course. Her grandfather, during that migration, lost his wife. Her grandmother lost her husband, and there they were in a little village in Greece, sharing their misery. But it was my wife who forced them as a little child to get married. It was so painful to talk about this kind of atrocity that they witnessed and lived through. If the world had been more not only attentive, but more active in resisting this kind of onslaught, then we would not have had the Holocaust and maybe some of the other atrocities, whether it's for the Uyghurs in China today or whether it's the Houthis, the Tutsis in Africa. Don't ever say it can't happen again, which is why this documentary that we did with the Hellenic Foundation's help is so pivotal, because it shows us, for something that many people didn't even know about, that it certainly could happen again, and it is. And we've got to make sure that we stay engaged and stay involved. But we are all victims of some kind of violence in our past histories. And that is the one thing that unites us all, is our chance to be in the barrel of suffering. I feel it's probably one of the greatest accomplishments that I've had. I'm very, very happy. I'm perhaps more elated about this than just about any other project that I've ever worked on. And it was such a great joy working with the Hellenic Foundation and learning a lot about how funding organizations really work. So they helped a lot in steering us where we needed to go, and it just made life so much easier.
We didn't really know just how far this would reach. is some of the stories that happened. We have received some messages. We've had a gentleman, and we have about 10 or 12 cases of this, but this gentleman felt very strongly. His name was Mehmet Ali. And today, Mehmet Ali, after watching the documentary and doing some research, his name today is Elias Ypsilantidis. He discovered his roots, and he has changed his name. Now, how many of us can say that a piece of our work have affected people so greatly that they went back into the archives, figured out who they are, and now is in constant contact with the center, offering his help to translate into Turkish, to do all of these things, simply because it was almost like a stepping stone for them to look back a little bit about a story they didn't know and said, maybe that's who I am. And it was.
December 7th of last year, when we had the first preview of the documentary, that there were so many people, so many individuals who became so emotional. 1/3 to 1/4 of the Greek people had roots from Anatolia. And when I saw that reaction of the people and who came to see the documentary, and were so thankful because they learned more about their history in that 1 hour documentary. They were able to view and understand and learn what happened to the Greeks of Anatolia. It is a life dream to be able to do something about my family. For years and years now, since 1994, this is my primary goal, is to promote the history, to promote the knowledge of what happened. As someone who had first-hand experience of what happened to us, to our families, what they went through, till now that we've accomplished our goal. It is not the end of it, but at least we were able to do something thanks to the Hellenic Foundation that provided the funds. And I feel that I've accomplished personally something.